have a motorcycle question I can't get a straight answer to.
Yeah.
So I ride a lot, and I
Cool.
do a lot of distance stuff, dirt street, whatever. I've done some spirited riding as well. You know, everyone has on the highway going in, just going between cars and around them real quick. Why is the shoulder considered so bad? I don't ride on the shoulder to pass people just because it's kind of not motorcycle culture, but it seems like a really safe place to go compared to the dotted line between
Well, I
cars.
mean, as far as lane splitting goes, it would be safer, but the problem is the tire hazards because there's so many little rocks and screws and pieces of broken glass and sharp stuff over there on the shoulder that you get over there, you're gonna pick it up and either blow out a tire or have a rapid deflation, and now you're in a safety situation. So it's the tire hazards that make the shoulder dangerous for a car or a motorcycle. Also, when you're riding in the shoulder, your tires are kicking up all those rocks and gravel and stuff. It's
Hmm.
pelting the people behind you. That makes
Hmm.
them mad, whether it's road rage or they pick up the phone, call the cops. So that's why we stay out of the bonus lane. And even riding the yellow lane, like if you're in a state like California where you can lane split, still you got all those the tires pick up the tire hazard. So it's the greasy spot in the middle or that yellow line that's got all the rocks and screws and nails in it. So for on a motorcycle particularly, I just stay out of those because I don't want to have a blowout.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, a lot of times I have uh, sort of 50-50 tires on them. People, that's a little dirt, little street
Yeah.
for people that don't know. I bet they're better for that. But you bring up a lot of good points. I appreciate it.
No, yeah. I mean, again, from if anything else, even if you had unobtainium tires that weren't going to get a flat or some like a moose or something like that in there, still
Hmm.
you're going to kick up stuff and crack somebody's window behind you, and they're going to run you over or get mad. So that's
Yeah.
generally why we stay out of them. But it's not a bad idea.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But so, what kind of riding you do? I mean, I've been riding, custom Harleys and dirt bikes and stuff for years. What kind of stuff are you into?
Mostly sort of long distance. Like I did the Transamerica Trail. Are you familiar with the TAT?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about doing a cannonball on one of those.
Yeah, I did the TAT. Just recently, we took small bikes, dual sports, out to Colorado and Utah. Did all the mountain
Yeah.
passes, and we did
Oh,
the
nice.
Slick Rock mountain bike trail, which was pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I know that.
And
Very cool.
we do Smoky Mountain 500. A lot of the BDRs. I've done the Nevada, California, Utah BDRs. I've done the Mabder, the Mid Atlantic BDR. That's the
Nice.
kind of thing I do. My friends have, GSs and KTMs and stuff, and do moto camping.
Yeah, that's very, very fun. Have you done the Shenandoah 500?
No, I've heard of it. Is it good?
That's a really, really great one. I mean, the scenery is incredible. It's really well organized. That's one of my favorite ones to do. I've not done as many as you have, but that is one of my favorite ones. It's great, just an incredible scenery and well organized run. It's a good one.
All right, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll do it now. Woody's going to talk to Jackie after this and be like, so 2 weeks from now, Shenandoah 500.
It's fun. I've done it. The Shenandoah they have like a hero route and sort of an adventure route. And I've done the adventure route 2 up before. It's great. If you don't take somebody along, that's a good one to do. But if you're by yourself, they have a more adventurous route as well. It's fun to do.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, my bike is a little more capable than my friends, so I always get to do. I don't know, I look like the hero because like they're on a 1200cc or 1250 GS, and I'm on a midweight bike. It's easier for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd had my Street Glide. I'd had it 3 days. And I'd had some very special white walls fitted to it, and I was going to do an off-road event in my Scout, and my Scout broke like a couple of days before. I couldn't fix it, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ride along with somebody. So it's supposed to be at this campground in Alabama. So I'm all right, no problem. So I get on my bike. I run blocker for a bunch of guys hauling trucks over there. We get to the campsite. The campsite is not a campground. It is a pulpwood cut. And there is a muddy hill in the dark going up to this place that is so bad. There's like people lining the sides of it, just watching guys in 4-wheel drive dualies trying to haul a trailer up there. So I get to the bottom. Now I'm committed now. I've got like 10 trucks stacked up behind me on this trail. I'm on a brand new Street Glide with white walls on it. And there's like this 10-story hill in front of me. And I just sent it full hill climb, just wide open, like second gear, third gear. I had my feet out as outriggers. I got so much mud caked on my feet, I couldn't get them back underneath the shifter. So I was just feet out, wide open. I got so much mud caked on the front wheel, it quit turning. It was just like a ski. I'm just like doing wild like tank slappers up the hill. Made it to the top, didn't drop it, and all weekend long. Of course, the bike's just coated like it's like an Adobe pot. It's just been baked on all weekend long. People come by camp. Who's the dumbass drove that thing in here this weekend? I'm like, that's me. But that poor Street Glide, man, that thing has been off-roaded. It's been stuck on a beach. It's been hit by a wave. It's been knocked over by a tornado. While I was on it, that poor bike has been through it, man. I've ridden that thing in the snow.
About 900 pounds, Street Glide, you think?
About 8, like 943 or something like that. With all the chrome and tools and shit I carry, about 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was heavy. But I have treated that bike like a dirt bike for 16 years. He's coming back for more. So
you drove it through a tornado?
I was on that bike and got pushed off of it by a tornado. Yes.
Damn,
I did a
nice.
Actually, right, Nicholson, Georgia. You know where that is, Kyle? Just south, just between Athens and Commerce. But it's been 12, 13 years ago. But yeah, I was riding back from DC. I was in the worst rainstorm I've ever been in my life. Just like that, you can ride bikes, you know what I'm talking about. Just like that, spitting in your mouth, just water coming up off the road, like just fire hose kind of rain. And I probably should have pulled over and stopped, but I was like almost home, and I was like, you know what, I can make it. But I got out there, I got off in Commerce. I got out on the road again. And this was right when they were 4-lane in 441. So it was still kind of 2-lane in places, open up into 4-lane. And I'm like stuck out there and I can't find anywhere to pull off. There's like big chicken trucks blowing by. And I'm just thinking, man, I gotta get off this road. I top a hill and there's a construction site in front of me. And I'm trying to kind of look in the rain to kind of see where the gap and all the barricades is to see where the road goes. And I see the gap and I start slowing down for it. But as I'm slowing down the gap, like I can't line the bike up with the gap in the road. And I'm like, what's going on? I keep trying to kind of steer towards it. And every time I steer it, like I'm still not quite making the gap. I think for a second that I'm skidding or something. So I like kind of like hit the rear brake and kind of went to stabilize myself. But then I almost dropped the bike because I realized that I wasn't going that fast. Like the rain's coming past me like hyperspace. I think I'm going like, 70. I'm going like 20. Everything's just really disoriented. And all of a sudden that construction site that I was trying to dodge just sucked up into the sky. Like just barricades and barrels start lifting off. And I was like, that's it, I'm dead. I could see a porch light just through all the rain and slosh and everything. I just gunned the bike for the porch light. I was literally going to like ride through their front door like D-Day in Animal House. I was just going to ride through the front of somebody's house. And of course, then I hit the ditch and get stuck. And I just stuck it. And it was like all of a sudden, like this air pressure, like I thought my eardrums were going to blow up. And then like this gush of wind just came down, kind of forced the bike over. And I just kind of fell off of it. And I was at that point just going to hang on to it because it was heavy enough and pretty dense. I thought maybe it wouldn't get sucked up. And it started sucking up mud and water and all this shit. And then it just stopped. And then all that stuff just rained back down on me, sticks and mud and all kind of shit. And I look up and there's like stars. And it just sounds like a train going off in the distance. And I picked the bike up and rode it on back. I got to the Dollar General there in Nicholson, and there's a couple of cars pulled over in a police car. And he's like, don't go north. There's a tornado. And I was like, no shit, Sherlock. And anyway, I get back to Athens, and it was kind of surreal. I'm thinking like, is this going to be like Beetlejuice? Like I'm going to get home and I'm going to be like dead for 5 years or something. I don't know it, but obviously not. And I actually got in the car and drove back up there the next day, and it was like a tornado had just sort of touched down. It kind of cleaned out a field and sort of skipped this little valley, sucked up the construction site, and then dumped the construction site out in a field and just kept going out towards like Royston or somewhere out that way. And it was kind of funny. I tell people, Pauly Shore saved my life that night.
That tornado destroyed the fire department in Royston.
Did it? Wow. Yeah, man, it was scary, man. And I'm just lucky to be there. And I tell people, Pauly Shore saved my life because I ran into him at a gas station about 20 minutes before that. And he looked tired. He was actually driving his own limousine. Driver was asleep. He's driving his own limo, going into a convenience store. I'm paying for gas. He's coming in. I'm going out. And he looked tired. I just said, hey, Pauly Shore, welcome to the South. And I kept on going. But anyway, that 15 seconds or 10 seconds of talking to him, probably not, but really that delayed me just enough where I wasn't in that construction site when they got sucked up. So I tell people Pauly Shore saved my life that night.
Pauly Shore saved your life.
Yeah.
I bet he would hang his hat on that.
Absolutely, man. But it was a crazy night, man. And I know you probably had some adventures on bikes too, but it was nutty. But that one Harley, man, that thing has been through it and it just keeps on going. I love that bike.
I am the same way with like inanimate objects. Like you buy a brand new Harley, the thing, I mean, it's nice and everything, but it's not yours. You haven't done anything. It's after you've got knocked off by a hurricane. It's after you've done that hill climb. It's, all those scratches. That's where the Harley gets its value from
absolutely
what you've done with it.
Yep. So, I anthropomorphize all my vehicles. I like get mad at one of them, but I like go around the corner of the house and say something bad about it because like I don't want it to hear me or something. I don't want to hurt its feelings. It's car related. I've been a car kid. I mean, it's the moment I was born. I love cars and engines. I've built my whole career about designing cars, building cars, doing artwork of cars, making artwork out of car parts. I tell stories about cars on the internet. I take road trips in cars. I race cars, like literally every part of my world. So, all of my friends are car people. That's just what I do.
Do you like electric cars?
I'm sorry?
Do you like electric cars, electric vehicles? I find a lot of car people don't.
Mechanically, I'm very impressed with them. Just the other day, I delivered one of the Porsches. I handed that off to the JR Garage guys, and I was kind of running late. I needed to get to the airport, and they put me in one of those like Tesla Plaids. And holy crap! I mean, as somebody who grew up drag racing, and the work and effort it takes to get a car to do an 8-second quarter mile, and to get in something that just whooshes you along like you're outside out of a cannon. I mean, the performance of them is incredible. I don't feel it like an emotional standpoint. I just don't get connected to them. I mean, they're amazing, but I don't feel like they're necessarily the solution to ecological problems because the amount of energy it takes to bring not only a new car to market but to power an electric car. I don't feel like that's really breaking even in regards to an ecological standpoint. And I just like old cars. I've got an 82 Lincoln and an old Scout and an old clunky Dodge truck and a bunch of Harleys. And I like cars and engine bikes that make noise and shake and rattle and roll. And electric cars are amazing, but they just don't touch me emotionally like I want a car to do.
I'm sure there's one that does it, but I've always wondered why I didn't see it more. But I would want my Tesla to make noise like a loud car. I want it to sound like it's got exhaust. And when I hit the that would be hilarious if that thing sat there like it had
pump that through the speakers. Fucking Elon made fart mode, but not that. Come on.
Oh yeah, you could just collect. You could feel it one day. You feel like a old Ferrari V8. Different day, you could have a 383 stroker. You could just click it, whatever car you felt like of the day. You could just run anything you wanted. Listen to a turbo vet or a naturally aspirated old, Coyote motor, anything you wanted.
Yeah, I had a Trans Am with a 383 stroker in it. We used to go to Commerce, where they have the drag strip up there.
Oh yeah, I've raced many, many nights at Commerce.
I love that smell. I love the smell of that place. It's one of those smells that, what is it, olfactory memory or whatever?
Yeah.
Where it triggers those memories from a long time ago that you couldn't have accessed as vividly without the smell. If I smell that rubber, that high octane gasoline, and that smoke exhaust, like, I remember that night. It's real cool.
Supposedly olfactory memories are our most powerful ones as a species, but sadly enough, though, that drag strip is now gone, man. They closed it.
How long ago did they do that? I hadn't been in years.
About within the last year, I believe. The fella that owned it passed away, and his kids didn't care about it, so they sold it to some cold storage place, and they've already leveled it, and they're building a big cold storage there. So Atlanta Dragway is gone. However, they are supposedly going to make another one down where Atlanta Motor Speedway is.
Okay.
Down there, kind of south of Atlanta. Down in Griffin area. So supposedly there will be another big top fuel level track in Georgia, but unfortunately, Commerce Speedway is gone, man. That was the institution.
Dude, it was so cool that I don't know why they called it Atlanta, because it's 2 fucking hours from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Commerce is like where I'm from. It's way closer to being South Carolina than it is to being in Atlanta.
Yeah. I guess just for the purpose of, NHRA, whether it was the Winter Nationals or whatever it was they did down there. Like, I guess if you live in Colorado or Seattle or somewhere like that, Atlanta, it's all close enough. I guess they got better marketing. The Commerce Speedway maybe just didn't have enough.
I didn't even know it was called that. Like, I had been there a bunch of times. I'd driven there. I didn't even know it was called that because it was just the racetrack. That's what was just called it that. Like the idea of, because Atlanta would have seemed silly to me there.
Yeah, you're right. It's way.
It's a shame they tore it down.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to go out there and dig up a chunk of asphalt or something from the start line or something. And by the time
rubber is so goddamn thick. if you could get a side, like a sediment, it looked like sedimentary rock or whatever.
Yeah, that would have been cool.